13th meeting of the Senior Advisory Committee will now come to order. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? And Howard will lead us into that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, that's done. Oh, you may be seated. Are we going to do elections first, or are we going to do the agenda?
Let's do approval of the
Agenda
agenda.
first.
Okay. Okay, approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second. Done. Okay. Elections of this year.
Election for chair. We'll start with chair.
Oh, you're going to do it that way?
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay. Nominations for election of chair of the Senior Advisory Committee. Don't everybody speak up at once. Oh, I'm sorry. Got to turn your light on. Sam?
I nominate Sharon Lascola because Sharon didn't have a chance to do anything yet, so now's your chance.
I was the minute chair. Well,
I third.
wow. Wow.
Ask for consensus.
Ask for consensus. It's consented. And now we're nominations for the vice chair. Jose Soto. I'd like to put his
Second.
Call the question.
question. What's the question?
Call the question is.
Call the question.
Is a vote.
Call the question. Everybody?
In favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I'm too young. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, let me tell you my news. I am not going to accept chair.
Approve the minutes.
I'm not done. I'm not going to accept the chair of this committee. I think it's other people's turn. I mean, I've been vice chair for so long, and I let it go through, but I think now we should take a vote on chair. I'm going to not take the chair. I graciously declined.
It's too late.
Well, I'm going to resign also from this committee.
We vote.
I thought I'd just let it all go through and see what everybody has to say. How do you like that one? Because I'm just changing the
Dropping
rules.
the mic on us
Yeah.
right now. That's pretty
Yeah.
early in the
Well,
meeting.
I did drop the mic. And, you know, well, let me just finish some of my statement. This has become very politicized, this committee. And through my friend, Veronica, who now can speak to me directly, she was called out for certain things, and they wanted to get rid of her. We were accused of the Sunshine Law. And so it became very politicized. This is why I let it go through, because I did want to speak about this. And we're not a political committee. We have actually no vote on anything that would affect the village. And so I had to make my statement, and that's why I'm resigning, because it's become politicized. Yes,
Excuse me, but your statement's out of order.
I don't care.
We already approved, well, we already approved the agenda.
I said I wasn't going to run it normally. I know, everybody is sort of like,
Next is staff updates.
you know,
On the new business.
Howard's going on. You don't accept my resignation?
Can't now.
So I can resign after?
Resign under new business.
We're making this up as we go along.
I know
here,
we are.
so-
I know. I really didn't have this really to say that I was going to
Resign under new
resign.
business.
I really didn't have that to, like right now. But I just felt that certain things had to be said. And because of what happened with Veronica, I don't want it happening to me. I don't want people to call me up to their office, and you know who they are, and be reprimanded and be accused, and then they tried to get rid of her because she was really good on this committee. I mean, after I've been on, since 2014, and she really brought purpose to this committee, and, and it was a shame. And like I said, we couldn't talk about it until after she resigned. So, yeah.
Still out of order.
I don't care.
I can't help it. It's still out of order.
So at this point, since there's a lull in the discussion right now, what I would suggest would be either you can continue the meeting and resign, this could
Okay.
be your last meeting, and continue to run the meeting, or you could choose to hand the gavel to the new vice chair.
I'm going to
run
hand the
meeting.
gavel to the new vice chair. Here you go.
Wow, I'm ready for this.
I wasn't either, Jose. I honestly wasn't thinking of resigning, but I had to say my piece about with Veronica what happened. And I just don't want to be caught up into that situation. I don't want to be called up to the principal's office and because we're doing something wrong. So I know, it was just,
Can we get on with the meeting?
Everything is new for me. This is a new chapter of my life. Just when we carry on the meeting, and then after that you resign. That's my personal opinion. Can
what?
we do that? Can we continue with the meeting, and then
Sure.
after
Okay.
that we accept your
I'll
resignation?
take the gavel back.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we have elections. We have
Approval of minutes.
approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Staff
Just you
updates.
take a vote,
Yeah,
so
this-
we're guessing that that's a unanimous vote on the approval of the minutes.
It's an unconventional meeting.
I'm just making
and let me
sure.
tell you something. That's how I would have run it if I were the
Just
chair.
trying to check the boxes to make sure we're meeting the requirements.
Okay, so we have that. Is everybody fine with the minutes? Because staff updates. Hello, sir. Are you going to talk about the senior
So
survey?
when you're ready for me, I'm
Okay,
here and ready to
I have
go.
one more thing to make. That last meeting, Mary never got a chance to speak about the survey. So,
Yes, I did.
well, you did really, are you finished with that then? I mean, that was old business, we're done with it? Okay. All right, it's your turn.
Okay, so just the staff update on that is that if, pulled out the minutes from the last time we discussed this, that I was present, and provided a draft of a senior survey, needs survey that we wanted to distribute. And the last thing we needed to do was basically obtain comments, any input from individual committee members that we said we'd be happy to meet individually so we could get your individual one-on-one comments, and then we could discuss that as a whole. That I think actually Ms. McHugh recommended we have a workshop on that. So we can still follow along those lines if you guys want us to set up individual meetings with you so we can sit down and review the survey instrument that we actually provided, very draft preliminary format that we could start tweaking the actual wording of certain questions and making sure we address all the we'll say the needs issues or assessment type gap analysis issues that you guys want to cover. I think off the top of my head, the survey questions, there were about 24 questions, but it was one of those things that it was set up that if you answered a certain way on one or two of them, you skip a few and moved on. So probably really less than 20 questions, real questions. A lot of them were kind of sub-questions. So I think it was still a manageable size survey. It wasn't 5 or 7 questions that you're going to hit somebody up as they're walking by you, but it was something that was meant to be mailed out. Also be available online for anybody that want to take it online, and also sent out through other means, whether it was utility bills or any other way. We could certainly, in some way or fashion, send it out to what we had as a senior database within the village. We could send it out to members of the senior club. There were a lot of different ways to get the word out there to maximize the amount of responses that we got back. So, yes, sir.
I just want to say that this should address also all the people that are here who come because they're interested in this.
Absolutely, and I think that was Ms. McHugh's point with trying to have a workshop specifically just on the survey. was that, we weren't going to try and mix it with other
And I'm
topics.
sure they will have contributions to make.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we can make the information available once we meet with the individual committee members. We can put it out there and we can make a presentation to different community groups or the senior club, or even just have it available so that people can get it emailed to them as a draft so they can give us comments, certainly. And then have any comments brought up at the workshop. Yes,
I have a
sir.
question. What difference is it between that survey and the survey that was done with the senior task force in 2006?
I think there's probably a few more questions, and also, without having it side by side, the biggest difference is probably recognizing some of the maybe different services or gaps that we've heard that we kind of get from just different input from the community, and also the use of the services. And I think the last survey focused more on just, basic
Needs.
questions on need.
Needs.
And this one was more, if we have some of the services we have or facilities we have, do you use them? That way we can get a gauge as to, are we providing what seniors need, want, that type of thing, or are we just providing certain things that really don't get any use from the senior segment of the population? So I think there are some more of those more specific, facility-specific or service-specific questions to try and determine where the gap is.
Okay, so what's the specific question now?
Well, that's right, I don't have that.
Whether
I
we
don't-
should have a workshop or individual shops?
No, it was more like as far as have you used the Wellington Community Center, or what programs do you use? Those types of questions where it was
No, I
specific.
understand the questions now, but what is the question, your basic question? Is what kind of format should we have?
Oh, no, for the workshop, it's more just, are we good with the questions? The last thing I want to do is put a survey out there and have this group as a body say, hey, we did not get to comment on it specifically, or we have some things that maybe should have been covered that staff didn't cover, that type of thing. That's the
Okay.
main thing, is I want to make sure that you guys have input into the questions in there.
One thing I think should be added is these telephone scams. I was sitting right there in the lobby, and I got a phone scam right on my phone. Mm-hmm. And I would worry about that because they're somehow able to penetrate the building and do things. It isn't just my phone. I'm sure other people get these phone scams too.
Robocalls.
Jennifer, weren't you addressing that?
Yes, so we did a prior symposium last year on that, but we could bring another symposium in about that too, and bring law enforcement in to talk about it.
Yeah, I remember that. You had
Yeah.
that.
We could do that. You're welcome.
So if it's agreeable to the different members, what we can do is reach out to you individually, set up an appointment, we can meet with you, go through the survey
So
again, and then have a workshop scheduled outside of the regular senior advisory committee meeting schedule, that all we do is discuss and finalize the survey so we can send it out.
Right.
All right.
There was a telephone call that we received about a workshop on a Saturday morning at 9 a.m. And that time is not good for me at any time. So
Okay.
I mean,
Yep, no, we would
Aware
try
of
and
that.
probably schedule the workshop around the same time that we have our advisory committee meetings. It would just be outside of the regular schedule.
Was that the old business?
That would be all, that is all I've got for old business.
Okay, what about my smoke-out ashtray in front of the door of the community center? Because
Well-
people do smoke when they go in, and this
Right.
way, instead of putting the cigarette on the ground, they can put it in the ash, in the
Right,
smoke.
and then I
And
think.
I know it's a no smoking area,
Right.
but I think most people know it's a no smoking area. It's just that they put the cigarette butts on the ground.
Right. And I think we're trying to figure out, and what we would probably be able to do is do something not quite right in front of the building, because while I understand the concept, because I hate trash on the ground and
Right.
I don't like to pick up cigarette
Exactly.
butts, I pick up other trash, is that it's encourages people to come out who use the
Smoke.
facility to smoke, and we've got that 25 feet around the building, entrances and exits and that type of thing, that maybe we could put something on the walkway coming up, or there's just a sign, almost, that encourages people, hey, get rid of it before you get to the building, something like
Exactly,
that,
exactly.
to
I would
minimize the trash.
I would appreciate that as my last duty.
We can look at that and find some place on
Thank
the way
you.
up. Sure.
Thank you.
Just try and come up with creative signage for it to get people to know that that's where you need to stop.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Okay. So my old business was an ashtray. Anybody else have an old business? Are we done?
I think so.
Okay, let's go on to new business.
We have to pick a vice chair.
Pardon?
Pick a vice chair now.
Oh, that's right. We have to pick a vice chair. What if I resign? What if I don't resign?
You said you were going to, so.
I know. Anyway, let's pick a vice chair. I nominate Mary.
I respectfully decline.
You see?
I nominate you.
Who? Me. I'm resigning.
You
Say-
know,
Resigning from the board.
the
Yes.
board and everything.
I'm resigning from everything.
I nominate Jerry Springer.
Second,
Oh, boy,
Hi, Jerry. You're in.
I'm in.
Hi.
Raise your hands if you're for or against.
What was the vote?
Call the question.
Call the question.
let's vote.
Okay, let's take a vote. Jerry Springer for vice chair. Anybody move him on? Mary first. Sam second.
I turn.
Okay.
Madam President, or whatever, whatever happened to our homegrown hero?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be under old business?
Well, Howard was the
That was
homegrown.
last year. It was a new one.
Well, I didn't get the new.
We got it from last meeting.
Yes, we got it last meeting.
Oh, I threw them out.
Yes, and we supposed to discuss last meeting.
Well,
It's because Chuck Schaefer was on there. And Chuck Schaefer should actually, I mean, in my opinion, should be a homegrown hero. He started Schaefer's Drugs
you
back
can
in
propose
'78.
that if you so desire that. You can propose that right now.
I propose that Chuck Schaefer become the homegrown hero.
second.
Okay, yeah. I mean, he was so sweet. He opened the door for a friend of mine back in 1980, I think it was, when she was sick.
And also because he was one of the first residents of Wellington. He is homegrown, and he always did things for people, and it's the most friendliest home atmosphere when you go there. So for that reason alone, he deserves to be that. He is a homegrown hero.
I think I just said that. He opened the door in 1980 for a friend of mine when we were here, and she was sick.
Yes.
And the store was closed. I mean, he was still in there. So, oh, yeah. So we nominate Chuck Schaefer to be our homegrown hero. And that was
Second.
unanimous.
Unanimous.
Okay. Chuck Shaver. Thank
Okay.
you.
Boy, I have two good things now.
There you
An
go.
ashtray and Chuck Schaefer.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on a roll.
And that doesn't mean that all the other people that sent in their requests didn't deserve it also. Just he was most deserving at this time.
Well, he's,
Yes.
like I said, he's been here, he's lived here the longest.
Yes, don't discard those applications. Keep them active.
Well, his I kept. I mean, actually, I did keep his. Okay. Oh, question. Yes. Cecilia, could you come up to the microphone, please? And state your name, please.
Cecilia Teresi, and thank you all for giving me this opportunity. Congratulations to those that have been nominated and passed. But I would like to know, if you could add the names, let us know, those that are present, who were the other names nominated? I know you made a final decision, but I, for one, would like to know who were the other nominees. Thank you.
I think one was somebody that just moved here.
I'm sorry. There were three parties, candidates. Was Schaefer? Was another one?
One just
Here
moved.
they are.
Okay.
Jim Bass, third generation Floridian from St. Petersburg, moved to Wellington 1983 with his wife and 3 children. Let me see. Original baseball field. Let me see. Okay, he remembers. He's going back from 1983 with the polo, the baseball fields, the polo fields. Member of the Wellington Presbyterian Church. He remembers Schaefer's drugstore, of course, the only drugstore here. 2 lanes of Southern Boulevard. Huck Finn Days. Okay, Wellington Club for residents. Okay, and then we have, here's Chuck Schaefer. Colette Miller. She's lived in Wellington since 1984. Let's see. She's basically saying the same thing about when we were only 11,000 people in residence. And that's all she basically has. And then Dr. Jean Olberg, 20 years. Came in, she's a veterinarian. I'm a veterinarian. Served past president to the Palm Beach Vet Society. And basically, she's going back to when it was 2 lanes. You know, anybody that came in that time, I remember the same thing. I mean, I've been here for that long also. Does anybody want to take any? Oh, Greg Newsley? He's been here since 1989. Scout troop master, St. Peter's Church, a naturalist, backpacking aficionado. Does anybody want to do a revote, or I mean,
No, I would like to make a Sharon's. I mean, this was kind of sudden. You're resigning,
Yeah.
and before that, Veronica resigning. There's people here who might want to be on this board. I
Absolutely.
strongly urge people here to put in an application to be on this board, because I don't want to see this board fall apart.
Can I just say one thing? First of all, when I saw my email, and we were having elections today. Well, because we had elections in September, was it 2 years ago? I'm thinking we're going to be September. And then we get this, and we just got the email, I think it was Thursday or Friday.
Anytime a person resigns, if you recall when Tony was the chair too, then calls for another election. It's not
Well,
that anybody wanted to have it. That's the procedure.
No, it wasn't explained to me like that, actually. I mean, I was shocked that, we were going to have it today, actually.
And just if I could clarify, Sharon, we
You
did
could
look
clarify.
back in the minutes in June, and we did elect.
Right.
So it was in June, not September.
Well, the other one was September because my mom had passed away and I wasn't here. That was 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And so in my mind, I'm still,
understand.
okay? So I'm thinking September.
Gotcha.
So that's why I was thinking September. But anyway, make a story shorter, that we just got the email. It just came out, I think it was, Thursday or Friday? If I'm correct.
Yeah, just one thing, the members of the board are recommended by council, not a vote of the membership.
But they can put their name in, can't they? They can,
Right, basically the process is that
Yeah.
you submit your information,
application.
application to the
Right.
village clerk's office, and that's provided to council, but
Right.
council makes the final
Because
appointment.
most of us, I think, knew somebody that appointed us. Oh, well, good for you. I knew somebody. I mean, only be Howard Coates, who was a council person, when I ran.
Unless you're appointed at large, which it was in my case.
Ah, okay. You see, there's so much to learn.
That means you know everybody.
Well, what I was saying is that I don't know if a council person, unless you lobby them, I mean, they don't know everybody in Wellington or all the senior committee, is what I'm referring to. And so if you go to council meetings, or you maybe at a party or something, or a friend, recommends you to a council person, that's not that it's,
Sharon?
How am I doing so far?
Great.
Don't you just love this
Clock
kind of
ticking.
meeting? I know. I love this kind of meeting.
Jerry has
Oh,
it.
Jerry, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Keep talking. You know what I believe? Now, I believe we're around 700 members plus for the Wellington Senior, but I think actually there's about 300 that are active. And out of that 300, maybe 150 show up to the meetings and the free luncheons. And Howard and I know this. You talk to the people, you try to get ideas from them. And at the luncheons, and you talk to the people, try to get ideas from them, what their ideas are, and what they want to do. And sometimes they tell you some things, sometimes they tell you nothing. But I think that our group is growing more and more in the village. And out of the 700, like I say, there's probably 150 that are active. The rest are, what's going on, and that's it. And we try to get across to them. We had tried to get a building years ago for the seniors, and now we have this one room. They don't even show up in this one room. So why should we have got a building for them? And it gets a little, as you know, you say, sign up. Sometimes there's nobody in the room. And we try to meet their needs, but it doesn't seem that we can reach them for some reason. And we're trying to, but it doesn't seem that we can reach them. And I'm trying to find the reasons for it. And
Howard,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, Howard's got his hand up also.
Go ahead,
So let's
Howard.
give some time to Howard now.
I don't think this is a,
Me neither.
this is a basis for discussion for this committee.
Okay.
Since the Wellington Seniors Club is an incorporated entity of its own, we have nothing to discuss about
I was going
Seniors
to,
Club.
I was going to mention that actually, Jerry, we don't talk senior club, actually.
Okay.
I mean, unless it's, because, like Howard said, we're two separate entities.
Okay.
And the senior club came out with their torches one day after Veronica. Excuse me, I told you I'm very outspoken. And so we don't do that anymore.
Okay.
Okay. Sam,
I just want to point out that Jennifer has seminars and she has doctors and she has a lot of fine things, and it includes lunch. And people that want to, that are here, even
Wonderful.
came here because Jennifer informed them of our meeting. So this is kind of a little strange.
I don't know. I think that, well, we talk about seniors being old. Seniors here in Wellington are not old. Maybe chronologically, but they're not old in activities. And they're very busy people. So maybe that's why we're not seeing a lot of attendance at certain things. You know, people have busy lives. And especially if they have kids living here.
Well, and I think some new things that we have started, and that kind of segues into some things I wanted to talk about as well, is getting people more involved. And we have a volunteer fair that we're actually going to be doing on August 27th, because I want to see the seniors know what the opportunities are for those volunteer in the community. And so we have about 13 businesses that have already said yes, and they will be there. It's going to be from 10 to 12 at the community center. So that gets them a little bit more involved, gets them out of their houses, meeting new people. And a couple of other new things that we have started. We did have the Valentine's Day social. We're actually going to be doing a luau. So we're going to do a luau September 24th. We will be having luau dancers come in, and we'll have the dance floor set up kind of like we did with the Valentine's Day social, and people can learn how to hula as well. So we're trying to make things, you know, a little bit more fun and try to get people out there and meet new people. And I think that's most important, because kind of what Jerry was alluding to, we're not serving our entire population. So we have to find out what those needs are of those other population that are out there. So I think it's very important that we continue to grow and to see what things are going to be best for the seniors.
You're so good, Jennifer.
Thank you, Jerry.
Isn't she good? Give her a
Thank you.
I got a quick question. So we accepting the nomination for Shaver, or we go over again to the application again?
I think we took the vote for.
I think you
Chuck
all have
Schaefer.
voted
Yes.
on
Chuck
Mr.
Schaefer.
Yes,
Schaefer
yes, I
as
know
the
that.
next
Okay.
homegrown
And they can
hero.
always apply next time, and we still have
Yeah.
their applications, and so it's not like
Perfect.
they're out of the running.
Right.
We also have another member of this board that hasn't been here in a year, and it's important.
Do you mean our young friend, who?
Mr. Paveda?
Carlos?
Oh, yeah.
Carlos
so-
Paveda.
Yeah,
Carlos?
Carlos Pereira. Yeah.
This is his third miss of a meeting, if I'm correct.
Well, the meeting only goes quarterly, so you're talking about a
Okay.
year.
Okay.
So we didn't meet in December. So we did meet in March. We will meet now. So this would make 2 meetings. So if we get to the next meeting, then that would make 3 meetings that were not attended. So, but we'll talk after and see what happens. But I completely understand your concerns, and Yes.
And is it all right, as I said, for the people that are here to put in that they want to be, and that goes to the village council, and village council can select from among them to put on this board too?
Yes, they will just have to apply, and then council will decide who they want to place on the board. Yes.
I just want to agree with Sam. You know, this is a nice community. It is a nice meeting right here. And I witnessed in the last 3 years I've been here, there are positive things happening to the city. Jennifer came aboard, more activities getting more for the seniors. So let's go keep this going, you know. So the seniors in the back there, you know, I encourage you guys, you know, to be part of this. Yes, you. Don't turn around. Because this is, you know.
Bonnie would be wonderful.
Yeah.
So would Eleanor.
I mean, I'm taking my time to be here, you know, just to bring positive things to the city. I love where I live, and I just, it's, you know, like I said, no, nobody's paying me for anything right here, but I like it, you know, and I like the sports, I like the city. So please, in the back there, get involved. That's the only way we can make changes right here in the city, you know. That's the only thing I want to say.
I think one thing about the advisory committee, when Veronica was chair, there were things getting done, and it was different than senior housing or, you know, the typical stuff. And Jen, when you came on, of course, you know, things got a lot better. So I think it's just, I know for myself, being on since 2014, we really didn't accomplish anything except talk about senior housing. And let me see, what else did we talk about?
4 years,
I know.
senior housing.
That's right. We talked. That's right.
4 years.
I know. I was here with you. You were here a year before me. I mean, and that's all we talked about. Now, Cecilia was at the meeting and Jose and I were at the meeting from Brandon Miller, and I know Cecilia brought up about senior housing and a senior center and so forth, and unless they take the mall and make housing into the mall like they're doing in other malls, you know, that might be a place like for senior housing, which would be what I would think would be a great place because, you know, they're going to have all that room. And like I said, I know other malls that are doing that. I don't think you're going to get a senior housing, you know, community. Like Howard said, and Sam, we spent 4 years. We even had, like, not blueprints, but remember, can we have a pool? Do you remember all that stuff?
I do, and
Okay.
unfortunately, I do.
You know, we had all this stuff, and, you know, we'd come and we'd go to sleep and zone out because we knew exactly we weren't going to get anything, no matter how hard you tried. So maybe if the senior club can go lobby the council, and since Nordstrom's going out and whatever else, maybe they, and whoever owns the mall, Starwood, I think it is, or Star something.
Good, Starwood.
Yeah, so they can lobby them to put apartments in there for seniors. That'd be wonderful. Transportation is there, restaurants are there, cinema's there. How do you like that? See, I'm resigning. How do you like that? I've got these great ideas.
All great ideas.
I know.
You know, I noticed in North Carolina, a lot of the malls are doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're having senior housing developments built right into the mall.
Right, that's what I said.
People don't have to walk.
Yep.
The shops are right there.
And you know, there's, like I say, transportation. I know there's that bus line. I don't know where it goes, but there is a bus there.
All of them converge
Since I
there.
drive.
For the 42 bus.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
42?
42 goes to Belglade.
If it comes from Belglade in the west and stops here and it goes all the way to downtown West Palm.
Right.
Well, see?
Yep, it does take you into downtown
So
West
should I go
Palm.
lobby the council?
And there's an express bus too.
Staff would never make any recommendations of board members independently. You all are free to do as you wish.
Hey, I'm just happy I got
Speaking
a
for
smoke
Jim
out
and
ashtray.
Jennifer, just making sure.
Any other new business or anybody want other discussions of anything? Anybody from the audience want to come up and say anything? Or
Oh, that's public comment.
I know it is, but I'm just going ahead of everybody. Well, that was new business, open discussion.
Hey, one other
Public
thing,
comment.
if you could switch with Jose, I mean with Carlos, with Jose, I'm sorry. Well, Jose, so he can be, since he's the new chair, he can have the gavel.
He's got this thing with him, I swear to God.
The gavel, right.
Here, Jose, here.
We're playing Pass the Gavel.
Passing gavel now.
Yeah. Hit it once so you know yours.
So over now. I'm taking over now.
Yeah, we could go ahead and move to public comment.
Public
Any
comment.
public comment now? So you guys need to hear me because
That's
it's my
we
first time.
No, yeah, no problem.
Sharon just left me cold turkey right here.
I used to tell him.
Any
Ladies,
public comments?
ladies,
Okay.
Okay, we could
no
move to board
public comment.
comments.
Board comments.
Board comments?
Mm-hmm.
Any board comments?
I'm shocked at the resignation
I do
and
too.
and get me a little tongue-tied and mixed up. I'm sorry, but it kind of came as a shock.
It came as a shock to me. I seriously, as far as board comments, it came as a shock to me. It was one of these things that it was on the spot decision. It was just on the spot. It wasn't, thought out or anything like that. It was just,
Could I ask a question?
no.
If we gave you 2 ashtrays, would you stay?
Aw, sweet. Gave me 2 ashtrays. Oh, yeah, smokeouts.
I would like to thank Jennifer for her ongoing activity and planning. I think she's doing an excellent job, and I just want to recognize her as being one of the founding fathers of this committee, so to speak. Wonderful job. Thank you so much.
I
Thank you,
totally
Howard.
agree.
On behalf of the seniors.
Way you have all the list of all the activities now makes all the difference in the world for understanding. And the fact that the village online has, I had no idea how many programs the village offered. And I actually signed up for Zumba Gold Chair.
Oh, good.
I
Good,
figure
Mary.
I can sit in a chair, see what happens.
Great. That's great.
Awesome.
It's wonderful.
I just want to. I'm sorry. You want to say something? No. I just want to say to Sharon, I'm going to miss you. I'm shocked.
I am
And-
too.
I'm not expecting you to do this. I was ready to work with you, like I did with Veronica, with the one with Howard, and I support the group right here. But I like good leaders, and you are one of the good ones. And Veronica left us, and Howard too, So I like to work with people, and that's, if you want to stay with us, just let us know,
Oh, aren't you sweet?
He's buttering up.
I know. You're giving me 2 ashtrays. Yeah, he's giving me 2 ashtrays. He's telling me to stay.
I just,
right.
I speak from my heart. That's all.
Ah, thank you. Thank you. That's very warm. It's very, very warm.
Any more comments?
I just want to say thank you to Jennifer. Thank you for my maybe smoke out ashtrays. And it's been wonderful working with the board, the committee, whatever. Good times and some very bad times, arguing and so forth. But I know this committee will go on as long as you don't get too political. It'll go on. And as long as you leave out the senior club, it'll go on. And that's all I have to say.
And thank you, Sharon, on behalf of the Village of Wellington. Speaking for all staff, thank you for your time served, and we really appreciate your efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Howard?
Move for adjournment.
Move for, yes. Move for German?
I'll move with adjourn. After, could we first have the
I
date
think so. They
of
got
the
some comments in
next
the back.
meeting?
We can. It will be September 12th at 3:30.
Number 12.
You're welcome.
Yeah, write it down. Jerry, write it down.
Yes, write it down. Got a
Any
pencil?
adjourn?
Move to
Remember,
adjourn.
Peg, September 12th.
You move to adjourn.
Move to
Move
adjourn.
move to adjourn. Yes.